Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. This morning we'll be chatting with Ms. Rennie Williams, the manager of the North Main Mediation Center. We are talking about Community Mediation Services Division. You are a member and the manager there. And we'd like to talk a little bit about the function that, the role that you play, and also some of the various areas that you intervene in terms of settling disputes. So first of all, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Lina, and good morning to everyone in Trinidad and Tobago.
How would you describe the function of the Community Mediation Services Division?
Well, community mediation has two functions. First of all, mediation, right? We perform the service of assisting persons who are in conflict to come up with an agreement with the assistance of a third party who's the mediator. Community mediation has been in existence since 2006, and we are under the Community Mediation Act of 2004. So everything that we do falls within those guidelines. And when I say we have two functions, one, it's reactive, because after the conflict has escalated, that is when persons come to mediation. Some are referred by the court, or some are just walking off the street, or they're referred by the police, or by a lawyer, by another agency. Right? But we are also proactive, because we see the need to teach persons how to resolve conflict before it escalates. Right? So we have implemented a number of programs to assist persons in learning those skills. One of the programs is the Parental Support Group, and this is where parents from all over, however they come into the center, they may have come in because they were referred for mediation and they see the sign. They may have, may have gone to a PTA and told persons about it, or they may have just walked in off the street looking for help, right? And so the parent support group, they come into the center and they meet once a month at the centers, and they discuss issues that affect parents.
Where are these centers located?
We have 8 centers currently. One is in Port of Spain, in Jobco Building, San Juan MTS Plaza. We have in Tunapuna in the Social Services Building, Arima in Pennywise Building on the 3rd floor. We also have in Canupia next to Scotiabank. The other one is in Couva, again Social Services Building. And currently the Penal Center is sharing with the Point Fortin Center. We are looking for another space again, but it is upstairs, upstairs licensing office in Point Fortin.
Wonderful. What are some of the areas or some of the disputes that you will intervene in?
Okay, so we intervene, we categorize them into civil and family disputes. But under civil, you might have disputes with neighbors, persons who are fighting over land or property boundaries, and it is all too common, it escalates into violence. You know, persons parking in front indiscriminately in front of your yard or in front of your driveway, or it might be loud music, right? Those are some of the civil disputes, or even company issues, issues in commercial issues, issues between co-workers, all right? That might also be civil disputes. In terms of family disputes, we have a wide range. You know, persons who are sharing homes. You know, you grew up and granny leave the family house, right? And we all big now. When we were younger, you know, we could have shared, we could have done certain things, but now we all big, we have our families. But because of what is going on in the country, they may not be able to afford to move out of the family home, what we categorize as a family home, you know, and you have your own habits. I have my own habits. How are we going to share that space now? How are you going to maintain the house, all right? Or even they in the same yard, family yard, as we say in Trinidad, or similarly, persons who are co-parenting. We have a lot of cases who come from the court for co-parenting issues. You know, the parents go to the court because they are fighting over, how am I going to maintain my child? How am I going to see my child on a regular basis, be involved in my child's life, even though we have separated and we are no longer in a relationship? But I still want my child to benefit from the best that I can give my child.
So you mentioned there are 3 parties involved, the 2 people with whom the dispute exists,
yes,
and then you have the mediator.
Yes.
The mediator is a trained lawyer or something?
No. Well, they can be, but they must be trained and certified by the Mediation Board of Trinidad and Tobago. So mediators, they go through a course of training, and this person has the experience to know what it is in the framework of mediation, because mediation, sometimes persons mix up mediation and counseling. But in mediation, the mediator cannot give advice. The role of the mediator is to guide the parties towards an agreement that is best for them. Two conflicts may come in, and they may be the same issue. If it is the neighbor mango tree over in my yard, right? We quarreling, we cussing, it reached the court sometimes. But both of them may come out with two different agreements, all right? And that is because it's what's appropriate for your situation.
What level of resolution do you all normally achieve, especially as in that example with the mango tree? Give me how can it be resolved?
Okay.
Just an example.
So currently, our statistics show that it is about 74% reach agreement, whether a full agreement or partial agreement. Okay. So when it is we tell persons that they come to mediation, it works. It really does work. But the main thing is not about you coming up with an agreement. Yes, that is shows in statistics. Yes, sometimes a hard word. All right. But it also is about understanding the other party, where they are coming from. Because when we're in conflict, we're not listening. You're not listening to the other person. You're not listening to where the other person is coming from. You're not putting yourself in the other person's shoes. And that is the role of the mediator, to assist the parties in listening to each other, to understanding each other, and putting themselves in the other person's shoes.
You mentioned a number of issues. You spoke about landlord, tenants, parental issues. I could just imagine you all being overwhelmed or swamped with phone calls on a daily basis. How do you manage that?
Well, we have different levels of staff in place to ensure, and technical and trained staff in place to ensure that parties get the service that they need.
Great. So we'd like to welcome to the conversation a representative from the Parental Support Group, Ms. Sherry Ann Giles. Welcome. So we've been talking all about the wonderful work that you all do, and I also understand that you all take a preventative approach as well. You seek to provide some sort of counseling to certain people, especially parents.
Yes.
Could you elaborate a bit further on that?
Well, yes, the counseling is there for parents. Also, as I said last week on Morning Nation, between Port of Spain and Togo, we have parent support group. And every month that we have sessions, we talk about topics that would enhance our lives. So, yes, counseling is available. It is very helpful because from time to time, you know, you encounter stuff you really need to be counseled. But then there is this relief when you come into the group and you're able to talk. Sometimes after you talk within the perimeter of the group, you don't need to see a counselor.
Do you think people have been responding really well to these services that are being offered? Are they taking advantage of it?
I would say 50-50. It is our duty as the parents to, because we meet people on a daily basis, and where we interact and we hear certain problems, little issues, we can then refer, we can ask them to invite them to the group. And through this, because the parents have a good rapport with the counselors, you know, we can introduce them to the counselors and have them, you know, get some relief. But
and then you have workshops, parent support group workshops.
Yes, 2 per year.
2 workshops per year. Where do they take place?
Well, usually they take place at different locations throughout Trinidad, and the topics are from the parents. At the beginning of the year, we ask the members of our support group, what are the topics you think will be relevant this year? And we start working on it. We're doing research into what it is important to them. So some of the topics we have done before is parenting in the age of social media, discipline, drug abuse on the whole. When it is the Children's Authority came out, we sought to inform the parents about what it means in terms of discipline and the difference between discipline and abuse. All right, so the workshops are always relevant and always what it is, the topics that the parents ask for.
Now, we spoke about the mango tree earlier as an example. Another very common issue we have in Trinidad, and well, probably even worldwide, property.
Yes.
And fighting among family members. So as you mentioned, a grandmother would have died and left a property to several grandkids, and they're having issues. I'm trying to imagine how effective would counseling be in a situation like this, because sometimes it's such, it's so corrupt and you know, it's dangerous. It even leads to death. Some members get in fights. Just recently on the newscast, somebody was shot because of a land dispute. How do you all alleviate or relieve some of these issues?
So we also provide counseling, and as you said, some of these issues are so deep-rooted and so far back. You know, growing up, there was favorites, and you know, Granny had a favorite. I was Granny favorite, and you know, this is mine because Granny, even though Granny didn't leave a will, I feel I'm entitled to it, right? So in dealing with those deep-seated issues, sometimes persons need pre-mediation counseling, because when it is you go to mediation, you must feel comfortable that whatever decision you make, you can live with it, right? Mediation is all about self-determination, and it's also about it being confidential. When it says persons go to the court, you know, all your dirty laundry is it, right? So in mediation, it's a confidential process. It's within the confines of that room, and the mediator doesn't discuss what is happening on the outside with other persons. So it's a confidential process, so that is, and it's also about self-determination, and that is why it works.
Let's talk a little bit about community disputes, Ms. Sherry Ann. Community disputes, do you have many people coming in to discuss those disputes? How popular is that?
Well, me as a parent, I wouldn't have access to that information.
But in terms of community disputes, they do come in. They come in referred by the village council, and we are also in the same ministry as community development. So they also refer persons to us and groups to us. So they do come in for service.
So you are actually, yes, the parental support group representative.
Yes.
Great. So social media, that was one of the issues that you highlighted just now. In the day of and age of social media and technology, you as a parent, what sort of conversations you have among other parents when it comes to the obsession people have now, kids, with social media? Is that a challenge?
It is a challenge.
And how do you deal with that?
It is a challenge. As I said, this counseling really works because you as a parent would try to reach your child and other parents. In the PTA group, you would take what you learn from the PSG and take it to the PTAs. And for me, it's detoxing my child every day. Is letting my child or my children know too much time here, too much time on the social media. It is obsessing, and you know, you as a parent really have to take control and monitor them on this and encourage other parents to do it too, because while you are doing this with your child's friend isn't being monitored, so it kind of attaches itself to your child. So you have to be not even a parent, as they say, long time it takes a village to raise a child. So I find myself would always talk to other parents about it. You know, you watch what they're watching too. I would always go and peep, always, and let her know, you know, I am into this. Your older siblings are onto you. So, and even if you don't have that support, I would encourage parents of Trinidad and Tobago to join these parent support groups. It really works. It helps. It just educates you on how to move to another level with your child. As your child grows, you need to grow with them.
Wow, well said. Thank you so much. Your closing comments, Ms. Williams.
I would encourage persons to call the various centers and find out when parent support groups meet. They meet once a month in the various centers, and TOCO also has a support group, as well as there's a men's support group in Arima. Port of Spain, 625-6768. Arima, 667-5086. In Cova, 679-3660. In Cunupia, 693 2955, and in Point Fortin 648-2810. Penal, as I said, also shares that office currently 648-2888.
Thank you so much, ladies, for taking the time to come in and chat with us.
Thank you very much, Vina.
Offering hope and counseling to many parents who may be weary and frustrated at this time. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for staying with us. News is up next. I'm Vina Bharat. Have a great day.